Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Connor James. A fight sends one person to the hospital with a serious stab wound. 2 others were arrested following the early morning fight in Clay County, and now deputies are looking for others involved. I talked with them about what exactly happened. A fight down this road brought law enforcement out early Wednesday morning.
The cameras had showed that they had been fighting and all this.
When deputies got here along Gregory Branch Road, right off the bat, they saw one man so seriously hurt that rescuers flew him out to a Lexington hospital.
And his intestines were protruding.
Throughout the course of the investigation, deputies arrested this man, 51-year-old Ricky Gregory, in relation to the stabbing. Police brought in another woman on unrelated charges. But the fight was much larger than the victim and Gregory.
But there was more subjects there also, which we're still investigating.
How this fight exactly started, though, is still unknown. Gregory did not say anything to them.
We've not been able to find out what prompted it because the subject, Ricky Gregory, he would never say, anything.
And when we called for a jailhouse interview, he declined to speak with us as well. Now, deputies are still investigating this. If you do have information, you are asked to get in contact with the Clay County Sheriff's Department. We currently do not know the condition of the man who was arrested. Well, an 18-year-old girl died in a car wreck in Magoffin County today. It all happened on Johnson Fork Road near Salyersville early this morning. Kentucky State Police say 18-year-old Lindsay Trusty died when she lost control of her car and it rolled over several times. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Well, a Bell County man arrested at the Pentagon a month ago who was arrested again for making threats to Bell County officials. Charles Lawson, who was detained outside of the Pentagon for having multiple weapons, also made threats while calling Bell County Dispatch to both telecommunicators and local officials. Lawson was arrested on Monday after police say he called dozens of times, interfering with emergency situations as well.
This has been one of the biggest disruption to 911 services I've seen here since I started in 1982.
Lawson was arrested for several charges, including terroristic threatening. Built in the 1980s, the Loftus Mansion in Pike County turned heads for years. Friday evening, the house went up in flames after a controlled fire began burning uncontrollably, destroying the structure and parts of the nearby hillside. Pike County District 3 Commissioner Brian Booth says he remembers seeing the house being built. Now, it's hard to look at the remains.
And then when you pull up here and see that on fire like it was and what a big fire it was just really even that much more devastating.
Right now, there are no trespassing signs surrounding the gates to the house. We reached out to the owner of the Loftus Mansion for comment, but we have not heard back yet. Well, as our dry conditions continue, many counties placed bans on open burning this week. Now, this is a map of all Kentucky counties with burn bans in place. You can see those in red. That yellow you see is the area in the moderate drought, and we hope to have an update on that tomorrow. You can find a county-by-county list on our website, WYMT.com.
And yes, it's been really dry over the past month and a half, and that has continued for today as well. We'll go ahead and take you to a few of those cameras. Interstate 64 into Moorhead. You could see a few clouds, but overall those mostly clear conditions, and of course those drier conditions as well. Areas that weren't that dry today, you could see down into parts of Harlan County, a little bit of Letcher and Lee County, Virginia as well. Saw a little bit of those stray rain chances. Temperatures right now, they're still a little bit on the warmer side. Those low to mid 70s, 75 in Jackson, upper 70s in Hazard, 77, 73 in London, 74 into Prestonsburg. Dew points are anywhere from those low to mid 60s, so a little bit muggy out there, but really not that bad. Those 50s if you're looking up into Ashland, Moorhead, and Somerset, even over into Wise as well. Now for tonight, most of us will drop into about the low to mid 60s, partly cloudy skies. We saw those stray rain chances earlier. I think as we head into the rest of those overnight hours, I think that chance has definitely diminished. And as we head into tomorrow, we actually see some slightly cooler temperatures. Of course, they'll still be on the warmer above average side, but not anything like we've seen the past couple of days. And of course, stray rain chances possible as we head into tomorrow. And will that all continue as we head into the weekend? I'll have that and more coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thanks, Paige. Well, a new lawsuit says Kentucky's Republican candidate for Attorney General should be removed from the ballot. The lawsuit filed in the Jefferson County Circuit Court claims the Republican candidate is not qualified to run, arguing Daniel Cameron does not have the 8 years of experience as a, quote, practicing attorney required by Kentucky law. Josh Douglas, professor of law at the University of Kentucky, says when he heard about the case, he was interested and actually did some research on it.
And my reaction is that I think it's a pretty weak legal case, that there's nothing that I can find in the state constitutional provision or the interpretation of it that would suggest that clerking for a federal judge would not count as part of one's legal practice.
As of now, the Greg Stumbo and Daniel Cameron face-off will face off in the general election on Tuesday, November 5th. Well, another setback for Kentucky's new driver's licenses. Franklin and Woodford counties were the first to try out the program. Many people faced long lines and even longer waits to get the new IDs. And now Kentucky is on the clock to find a fix before an October 2020 deadline. Garrett Weimer breaks down what this means for travelers.
For now, folks here can still use their standard Kentucky driver's license to get on a domestic flight, no problem. And while many I talk to know those requirements are changing just over a year from now, several say they still have some questions. Officials have tried to come up with answers about how to do it.
We've all decided that a better model needs to be developed.
Pilot programs in Woodford and Franklin counties have shown problems with staffing, workload, and time. Now the responsibility of the new IDs will move from circuit court clerks to the state transportation cabinet. It's not the first issue we've seen through the process. The state has gotten a number of extensions. Kentucky travelers I spoke to here at the airport told me they're frustrated by the delays and problems that have plagued the state's plans for this for years. Some even told me after all this time, they just assumed it was already taken care of. One woman said she tried to get a new license in Lexington recently and was surprised when she was told it's not available yet. Officials have a little over a year to iron everything out, but the Transportation Cabinet says it'll need to work with lawmakers in Frankfort to consider putting in regional offices where folks can get the new ID.
People shouldn't panic right now. It's going to be okay. It'll be easier than putting it in 120 clerks' offices, for sure, but it's still a major change.
Some travelers told me they're thankful they already have a passport anyway and are glad they don't have to worry too much about it. But they know for many who may come through these doors that may not be the case. At Bluegrass Airport, Garrett Weimer, WYMT Mountain News.
The Transportation Cabinet has not released a timetable for implementing the changes or when other counties can expect the new IDs to be available there. They were supposed to be available statewide by the end of this year. Well, there is hope on the horizon when it comes to Eastern Kentucky health outcomes. During the Appalachian Research Day, Come Sit on the Porch, public health officials shared research into health problems and successes in Appalachia. In attendance, Kentucky's newly appointed Commissioner of Public Health, Dr. Angela T. Derringer, a Paintsville native who says idea sharing is the key to changing the tide.
My heart really is in Appalachia and Eastern Kentucky. And one of the things that we talked about today was we got to hear from community health workers. And I think that is a wonderful opportunity to reach those rural communities.
Dr. Derringer went on to say that those health workers can be a liaison between doctors and patients. Well, Big Sandy Rec hosted its first media day today, making the beginning of what employees called a transparent effort to serve its employees and customers. The event included a tour of the facility and a rundown of the company's strategic plan, which they called a roadmap to the future. Those in attendance discussed the best plan of action for informing the public about issues and how to work together with the common goal of serving the people of Eastern Kentucky. That plan includes safety procedures, community outreach, and other measures. New President and General Manager Bruce Aaron Davis says he is excited to move forward in a way that will show the Big Sandy Rec customers where its priorities lie.
We are looking into the future. We do have a plan. We know exactly what we're doing, and we want to provide that service.
More information about the strategic plan and the company's efforts can be found on their website, bigsandyrec.com. Well, Perry County, get ready because it's that time of year again. The Black Gold Festival will kick off tomorrow and people are already getting things set up. Main Street is officially blocked off through Saturday night, but there are a few different routes you can go to get to your destination.
Main Street will be closed after 5 o'clock this evening. High Street will be reversed 6 a.m. Friday morning. Bridge Street will be closed every evening after 4 and all day on Saturday.
The festival will have foods, crafts, carnival rides, and live entertainment near City Hall all 3 days. The headliner Saturday night is Walker Montgomery. Well, the 30th annual World Chicken Festival is just around the corner, and Old Town Grill in London had their last qualifying contest tonight. Old Town Grill has partnered with the festival for the past 5 years. 3 years ago, owner Mike Caffrey started the qualifying contest to prepare contestants for the fiery sauces that are at the festival. Each contestant receives a 3-pound bucket and has 5 minutes to eat as much as they can.
It's just really fun. And unfortunately, the Chicken Festival is so hot that we've made quite a few cry, we've made a few puke, and one had to get in an ambulance one year. So they're hot.
The Chicken Festival is one of the largest events in the state of Kentucky. It begins September 29th and runs through, begins September 26th and runs through the 29th. Well, coming up at 11, a community shocked as a teen's murder is filmed, but no one calls for help. Hear the strong message from police.
And above average temperatures continue, but is there any relief in sight? I'll have those details coming up.